Recording. I'm here. You are here. You are muted. And you are still muted. You are still muted. We're 40 seconds in, and you are still muted. Now, I know there's going to be a good reason for this. It's going to be an interesting reason. And it will be fun to talk about. But as we come up on 1 minute, you're still muted. I'm going to go ahead and get a screen grab so people will know what I'm talking about. And so, hey everybody, this is Do by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. And this week's challenge is for, to do the after show, I guess. Hi, my name is Merlin. We've been about a minute and a half in, and Alex is still muted. So I'll just I'll shuck and jive. Hi. Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
hey,
Hello.
after show.
After show. Hello?
You were muted for a minute and 44 seconds.
Yeah, I said BRB in our super secret text channel.
And then after you said BRB, a couple minutes later, the call connected. And then you were muted for almost 2 minutes. What was the B? Are you RB now?
I am RB. I'm not RB, I'm just B.
Oh my God. Oh, this is huge. I just realized one of my first ever things that took me too long to realize.
One of your first ever?
Well,
Go
yeah,
on.
and do you know what I'm talking about? So it's a thing on Rec Diffs where we talk about, like John's one from a million years ago was he didn't realize that Beatles was spelled the way it was spelled because it has the word beat, like a beat in music, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And mine, everybody sing along. If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me? I didn't realize that was a double entendre as a child. Mm-hmm. But, and now, whilst I have known this fact, the whole point is this was one of the earliest of, oh my God, that's why it's called that. Did you have Arby's?
Yeah.
When you were a kid, like with the big tall, like it was probably already
with the cowboy hat.
Yeah,
thing.
when I was a kid, it was a big tall brown hat, and they were really different and fun. It felt different when this is 20 years before you were born, but they were really really cool and fun. And my best friend and my girlfriend both worked at an Arby's, and boy, I know what an Arby's smells like. Oh, but Arby's. And then Arby's has this commercial, you see, and Arby's, it's ARBY''S, right? And then they had this commercial. And then you know what the tagline of the commercial is? America's roast beef, yes, sir. And I thought, ooh, wait a minute. That's really America's roast beef, yes, sir, is an acronym for Arby's. The acronym for that is Arby's. And I thought, oh, that's so clever. But I still wasn't really getting it. Because what's the name of the restaurant?
I'm still not getting it.
What's the name of the restaurant?
Arby's.
And what do they sell?
Beef?
So what kind of beef do they serve? Well, it's America's roast beef. Yes,
so
sir.
Arby's roast beef, sir.
The name of the store is RB. Roast beef. RB is how you pronounce the letters R and the letter B.
Yes.
So what does that represent?
Roast beef.
And that's why it's called Arby's. Did you always know that?
No.
Did you always know it's called Arby's because RB is the sound your mouth makes when you pronounce the letters R and B, which represent roast beef? Did you know that?
No.
America's roast beef, yes, sir, is just icing on the cake. Now, this is not something I just learned. This is something I learned when I was, oh God, a teenager at least. And I ate the shit out of some Arby's. And I had friends there. We had horsey sauce fights, after close. You ever shoot horsey sauce at somebody?
No,
you wouldn't know this, but it's horseradish, which is delicious.
Oh, ew!
It's delicious. It's horseradish. It's a creamy horseradish sauce. It's delicious. I mean, it's not made from an actual horse. It's not called horse bees. America's horse sauce. Oh, dear God. Why did you start a horse eating store? My bad. Because he's a goat. But America's roast beef, yes, sir. RBs. Are you getting this?
Yes, I'm getting it.
How are you not blown away by that?
I don't know.
Did you always know it?
I didn't. I'm learning about America's roast beef.
And so the point I'm struggling to make badly is, and it's if you don't know the bit, it's a thing. It's not just a bit. It's a thing. Things it took me too long to realize. Things I could not believe I didn't realize for so long why something is called something. And it could be something as dumb as, for your Hitler friends, learning that Volkswagen means people's car. And it was designed, not by Speer, but like by a Hitler person. Anyway, like one of those dumb things where you're like, oh, that's why it's called that. Right? Like, was all those things where, like, if there's technology that existed before maybe even a generation or two. This is a really good one, actually. If there's a technology that existed a generation or two before you, obviously you're under no obligation to care about or know or understand it. But then you realize that there's a word that you use every day that has a basis in a technology that's neither ancient nor very recent. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You don't seem interested, and I think you don't think it's fascinating?
No, I do. I think
I'm trying
podcast every single day. And
I'm trying to think of a really good example.
With that word?
But okay, how about this? And I know a lot of you're going to think this is either useless and dumb or just a cliche. But there's a pretty famous one of these. I don't know if it's the most famous one, but one of the most famous ones of these is people who have been using Microsoft Office through their childhood, teen years. You might have used Microsoft Office for 20, 25 years. And then one day you realize that the save icon, what is the image on a save icon?
A floppy disk.
A what?
Floppy disk.
Right, you get me, right? Wait a minute. I just thought that was a random arbitrary thing they made up. Mm-hmm. Why would that mean save? And can I just say, give it 10 years, and people are going to say, why is that an envelope?
Yeah.
And you go, because, like the way you get mail at your house? No, what? So, right? Or, the original, as far as I can remember, OS 10 icon for the mail.app was a stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when's the last time you bought stamps?
Oh,
but you see the point I'm trying to make. That's where, to me, those are a lot of those. This is crazy because my whole life is consumed by things like this, and I have listen. Almost none of them, oddly enough, are coming to mind. But I think it's so fascinating when we don't make that connection. That to me, that's some of the. Do you have things that took you too long to realize that you can think of?
Just a few weeks ago, I found out that Python is not named after the snake, but Monty Python.
I feel like I knew that and forgot it, but what a great fact. They use them. They do use like a serpent icon sometimes, though, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it's easier.
They're
than
very litigious. They're very litigious.
Yeah.
If you put a taunting French soldier on there, you'd probably have to beef with John Cleese.
They could have done an elderberry. That would have been fun.
Only if your mother was a hamster, but
yeah.
I don't want to be essentialist. Let me go look. I always have to do this by hand. It took me too long to realize. The NZ in Split Ends, the band.
Split. I don't know what.
I'm sorry. I got you.
No,
that's all I want. You know that song? I don't know.
Nope.
Sometimes.
No.
We might need to do a quick video series.
All right.
Okay, that's not a good one for you. The reason it's not
No.
the reason Split Ends is spelled the way it is because they're from New Zealand.
Oh, that's cute.
This is not a really good one, but it's kind of lame. But Paula, who I loved on The Walking Dead, also played the creepy little guy. He is the Kwisatz Haderach in Dune, 1984. That shouldn't count, but don't treat your kid like a project. Let's see, Giancarlo Esposito was in Trading Places. Very small role. Bill Berry from REM is still alive. Emily Yoshida was a writer on Shogun. Okay, I'm really abusing it with some of these, but yes, you there? The cover of the Police album. That's another classic one. What was yours? Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't remember now, but I do not. Walking Dead knew that one, but I don't.
Well, I'm sorry. That's a bad. What I did was I opened up Drafts. The app I'm using is Drafts, because people will ask, and I just did a search on the hashtag things that took me too long to realize, which would bring up all the stuff that I'd done as a jokey tweet. But those are bad examples. What's the album I'm thinking of? The one with the one I love, my favorite, Ghost in the Machine. Now, I love this one. I think this one, it's not 50. Okay, remember the dress, right? And approximately 50% of people approximately saw one or the other, right? Kind of, roughly. It was not 90-10. The whole thing that made it interesting is if you ask 10 people, there's a pretty good chance 6 would see it one way and 4 would see it the other, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But here's what's interesting. Imagine a phenomenon like that, but it's more like 90-10. Because I cannot I'm thrilled when I share this with people and they say, "Oh my God, I never realized that either." But I'm blown away with people who are like, I have no idea how you don't see that.
Okay, do you have a 90-10?
Yes, I have one right here. Arrow in the FedEx logo, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's one where your whole life you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody says, "Did you ever realize that the FedEx logo has an arrow in it?" And you go, "What? Oh, shit, fuck. I had one literally last night." Do you know Lockpicking Lawyer? Do you know that guy?
Yes.
Lockpicking Lawyer. And he, obviously, if you watch his videos, his big, probably at this point beyond side hustle, is something called Covert Instruments, which is all the lockpicking tools that he sells. I've bought a bunch of them. They're really, really good. His new one is awesome.
They're Sherlock Holmes levels. I don't have my own, but I've played with them.
They're so satisfying to play with. I just bought a bunch of cheapy locks at the hardware store just to play with. I'm pretty much stuck at low skill raking attack. But anyways, what was my point? Picking a lock on, oh my God, the Covert Instruments logo is so freaking cool. Hey, Google Covert Instruments, please. Do you mind? Are we okay? Are we okay for time?
Instruments? Yeah. Where?
Yeah. Just click on Covert Instruments, best in class. Lockpick.
I'm
okay, I can just send you
loading. Oh, it's what's that called?
Negative.
That's very cool.
Well, so do you see it? I never noticed.
Yeah, I don't
this.
know what it's called.
So would you have noticed? Okay, would you? So what we're looking at here is the name of the company is Covert Instruments, and their logotype includes. It's got it written out on one side. On the other side, to my eyes, I'll just give you the dress take. I look at it and I go, they've done something, but it says C and I, Covert Instruments. But I'm mainly reading the negative, the black space of this as like a sideways, like a hinge or something. And then last night, I saw the door. Their fucking logo is an open door.
I would not have seen it.
Isn't that brilliant?
No, it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I own this stuff. Like I've watched every video this guy has ever made, Lockpicking Lawyer. And I've seen this logo a lot, and I did not see it till literally last night. You feel me? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I would never have seen it if it was just the white. The first one that popped up was
would you notice it if you weren't? This is like my beef with people who are like, "Oh, I totally understand that magic trick." It's like, but would you? If you didn't, just sight unseen, if you just ran across this, would that instantly jump out as a door to you, as well as a clever use of the letters of their name?
No,
it's brilliant. The space between the C and the I is the hinge, the vertical of where the door is hinged on, and it's an open door because it's a lock picking company. A lock picking company, Alex. Did you get that?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you just see a door, or did you also make the connection with the open door being what they do?
Yes, but it's not fair because I know what they do. I know. I would have never seen it. Like, the FedEx logo is a good example of
totally.
Whoa, but never.
It would be like discovering. It would be like discovering everywhere in your house that wasn't furniture was an amusement park. It would be like, wait a minute. Oh, I guess if I look at it that way, now I can see it. I was just looking at what I thought we were walking through, but that was actually a fun house. I'm sending you, please let me know when you've received a text.
I've been looking at it, and I don't know.
Looking at what?
Yep, nope, I still don't know. I had pulled up the Police album,
okay. So you see Ghost in the Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my favorite Police album. I think it came out in '82, and so it's got it's really cool black cover. Y'all can just go find it, and if you know this, that's okay. But first of all, did you see anything weird about this or unusual? Did you notice anything about this?
It looks like a broken clock.
It looks
to
like
me.
a three 7-segment LEDs. Like you would see in a million of the videos people like us watch. It's like what a VCR looked like. It's what, I'm missing a really obvious one. It's what like most stereos displays look like. And it's what digital watches. It's what
my clock looks like.
Yeah, it's what all digital watches and clocks looked like until the mid 80s, at least. Which is black background, red areas. And so, that does read to you as a broken 7-segment display, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the name of the record is Ghost in the Machine. So you're like, oh, okay. They're probably talking about like broken technology, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you haven't seen anything else weird yet?
I'm trying. I'm like a little.
If you had this, do you know what Sting? Do you know what the singer Sting looks like?
If
you had to pick one of these three that was Sting, which would it be?
Oh.
Maybe the one with the spiky hair in the middle?
Yeah.
These are caricatures of the three members of the band.
I need to take a look.
Alex, it is a very broken 7-segment display with way more than 7 segments, which you don't notice at first because you don't know what a 7-segment display is. But if you look at this, you'll notice that each of the 3 glyphs is a very abstract character. If you blur your eyes a little bit, you can even see the one on the right, I think is Stuart.
Are these supposed to be full body?
No. So the one at the bottom, like that would be the one at the bottom, like the bottom of a 3, the horizontal at the bottom, that's a chin.
And the
segment near the top is the top of their head. The thing going left and middle is a nose. And underneath that, it's a mouth. And Sting's has spiky hair.
What distinguishes the... my brain breaks after the ridge, like where the eyes are.
Well, I mean, okay. Boy, sorry. You know what? I've never said this out loud. It will sound insane. You ready for some context? Context is anybody who, first of all, everybody knew who the police were at this point, pretty much. But especially a young person who listened to the radio absolutely knew who the police were. Like probably liked at least one of their songs. Like it could be Roxanne, or it could be Message in a Bottle, or it could be da-da-da-da, maybe, right? So this is their 4th album since 1978. So here's the thing, though. It's also MTV. Everybody knows exactly what the Police looks like. And one of the funny things about the Police, kind of like the Beatles, is at first you're not sure who is who. Like this was true for my kid forever. For the longest time, my kid could only identify one Beatle at a time and had no idea who the other three were. Which makes sense, because, I mean, Paul and Ringo kind of looked a lot alike for a while. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the three guys in the Police also kind of looked alike. And the one that everybody could always pick out, though, was the singer and bass player. His name was Sting, and he had spiky hair. And that's him in the middle. The context is
kind of adorable now.
I'm not persuaded you're seeing it.
I am seeing, like,
I listened to this album for 30 years before someone had to tell me, well, you never knew that those are, and I was like, I never knew that. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. And now I'll never unsee it. It's one of those for me. Again, the FedEx logo. Oh, UPS. Do you know the Paul Rand's old UPS logo? That's the logo.
Old one.
It's also a tied up parcel, like a beautifully tied parcel. Oh, love shit like that.
One for me that it was one that I just don't know how people can't see it. Do you know the LG logo? Mm-hmm. It's still the current logo, right?
Yep.
That the little face on it. Yeah.
Right. Just like the almost impossibly minimal amount of information to read as face.
Yeah, I thought apparently that's like a hidden logo.
I know what you mean, though. There's somewhere you're like, and then this is why I say the dress is such a good example. I mean, I don't know. You don't seem to have my back on this, but I mean, the thing that made it most fascinating.
No, I do. I think
most fascinating is all is like literally. First of all, literally everybody had a very clear opinion. B, it tended to break down wildly close to 50-50. And most fascinatingly of all, you would change your mind. One would change your mind. If you saw it on a phone versus, you know what I mean? And that was the trick, I think, that they say, try it with this background or that background, and it'll instantly make sense that your brain is fooling you. It's an M.C. Escher style illusion.
Yeah.
But wasn't that the crazy part, though, was like the 50-50 breakdown? Whereas in the wild, there's a lot more of like, you've told me what this thing is and I still don't see it, versus some people who are like, I don't know how you could live your life not knowing what that is. That's my entire context for that is this.
Mm-hmm. There's a really good, friend of my life, Jamie Loftus, has a podcast called 16th Minute of Fame, specifically about internet phenomena.
What a great name for a podcast.
Isn't I love
that's so good. Please tell them I think that's a very good name. They probably don't need it, but I think that's a very good name. I'm thinking like Kato Kalin. I was just watching the OJ thing on Netflix, and I'm like, it's so brutal to go back. Isn't that like the kind of example that jumps to mind, though? I mean, sure, like Monica Lewinsky, but for me, it would be like people who were like just civilians that just ended up. Bernard Getz, the subway stabber guy. Like there's just these names suddenly everybody knows out of nowhere, and then that person has to just go back to having a life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's an entire episode about the dress, including the women who posted the dress. But they talk about magic eye and optical illusions and how it looked different on the OLEDs and all that stuff. But it wasn't until that episode that, and I sent it to a few people, and all of them, 4 people asked me, why is it called 16th Minute of Fame? And I was like, wait, really? Like they weren't ding-a-ling.
Yeah. But it didn't. The reference.
No.
Didn't jump out because where that comes from. Those 4 words, which I don't even know if I think the original. I think the thing Andy Warhol originally is attributed as saying is, in the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the original?
I believe it's something like that.
In the future, everybody will. It's sort of like Brian Eno and the Velvet Underground, like about how only 10,000 people bought this album, but every one of them started a band. That gets misattributed to all different albums by all different people. But I think that's what he said. And then, but the phrase, the meme for the last 50 years is 15 minutes of fame.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you would, if you could even say 15 minutes of, and somebody would go football, but almost everybody would go fame, 15 minutes of fame. That's like how you complete that phrase. You'd have to have, in the same way that you would need to have that earlier context of what this kind of thing is to understand why that icon looks like that. I think it's kind of a similar thing. I mean, if you haven't had like constant exposure to what the police look like, you wouldn't have a chance with this.
No, not at all.
The covert instruments one is boiling my brain. At how, I mean, first of all, just at how, as somebody who has struggled to try and make logos for companies since the mid 80s, like it's so much harder than it seems. It's really, really hard. So especially back in the day when the logos I designed, I mean, one of my innovations was, hey, this should look good over a fax machine. Because, okay, so like I started that job at that company at a time when faxes were on the ascent. This is the early 90s. So I guess they're actually pretty entrenched at that point. But where they're becoming like, there is a scene in the OJ thing on Netflix where Alan, who's the pervert guy? Or you know who I mean?
Alan the pervert guy.
The pervert guy. The OJ lawyer who's a creep now. The Epstein guy. Anyway, he faxes something, he faxes one sentence to Johnny Cochran's aide who hands it to him in the courtroom. So boss. Imagine getting a fax in a courtroom. Oh my God. That stuff was all in the ascent, but we still think about when people used to design logos for offset printing. It had to look good in that kind of, I'm sorry, never mind. I won't go on a derail. It absolutely fascinates me. But you think about the intricate curlicues and like Rococo of the Victorian stuff, which you could expect to be printed with offset printing and maybe a spot color, maybe. That gives you one set of opportunities and constraints. Then you get further and further down the line. Now, obviously, you get linotypes, you get all these different kinds of things. But if you watch an episode of The Twilight Zone on a big TV, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Because it looks like some of my favorite episodes, it doesn't make me like them less. It actually makes it kind of sweet. It makes you appreciate, oh my God, Rod Serling wrote hundreds of episodes of this show and then made them happen. But, oh my God, it looks like everything in this set is just made out of cardboard boxes because it was never meant to be seen at that resolution, you know? So the way you think about, how you're going to be using this, think about the changes probably from, we need to make stuff that looks really good on billboards, jumbotrons, and NASCAR versus, a few years later, people are now seeing our logo at sometimes all the way down to 10 by 10 pixels. Like, can our logo read in every one of those situations where we don't control size, we don't control color, we don't control orientation? Your brand guide's out the window on the web. So how do you make a responsive logo? Something, something that is graphically fixed, but can look good anywhere. And that's why my brain is boiling about this incredible covert instruments, especially the graphic. The CI graphic is just, I'm really impressed.
I keep getting frustrated with current. This would be a good tattoo, but and anyway, the thing that I love about the covert design is it embraces sort of the modern aesthetic of logos that I don't really enjoy. No, and
I don't generally like this hyper-male industrial look, personally.
Not just
That's
that.
just my read. To me, this very much reads as like, this is like tactical baby carrier shit. Unless you're Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder, you don't need a baby carrier that's that tactical. It's happening again.
Okay, the way it's like typeset. Yes, it's the best movie. Sure,
it's the best movie.
It is.
I rewatched it again over the weekend, and it still bangs from the very first frame. It's unbelievably good.
The
thing you like about the covert instruments, this is not a style you usually like.
No, and I'm not talking about how it's typeset, because that's the like too technical part for me. But the way that corporations have typically flattened their logos. This isn't anything new, but the thing like how Staples,
but just like a plane. There's no sense of, is it that there's no sense, not even like bevels, but there's no sense of depth. There's no sense of like
uh-huh.
You could draw it on a chalk. You could draw it on a chalkboard with polygons.
Mm-hmm. And it would have been great on a fax machine. It would have worked awesome. But the lack of any sort of depth, and Cable Sasser talks about this a lot, is like the absolute inverse of what we have. We have a capability to do. Yeah. And
he's so gifted. Just to the transmit truck alone. I don't know what it is. It just makes me happy. It's always made me happy. I mean, I moved from Fetch, which no one will remember. I moved from Fetch to Transmit. And although I've used FTP and other apps, that's the app. Oh, you know what? I did use the Peter Lewis app also for a while, back in the early days. And eventually, that little truck has been with me for so long, and it still makes me happy. There's just something about the colors of it and everything about it. It's satisfyingly boxy. You want to put it in your mouth.
I'm sure.
Don't you want to put the truck in your mouth a little bit?
I
don't want to lick it. I want to put the whole thing in, Kathy Geist style.
Yeah, you've been shoving a lot of stuff into your mouth lately.
I took my right hand. What I did was I took my right hand, and I wanted. Well, I'm sorry. More context. I wanted it to be in my tummy sooner, so I got helped to kind of get around. Oh, I got caught on a tooth. Oh, my soft palate is starting to activate. I said. But you can hear it because I had a coffee cake being pushed into my mouth, which is like trying to drink out of a glass as you're falling down. Just one more.
I was trying to...
Damn it, Cyril.
Love that show.
You do it.
Can you
do the hello? You do it. How does he, what does he say?
Hello.
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 Hello. He is the actor is so fucking funny in everything he does. He's very funny.
Chris Parnell is.
He's funny in the cupcake thing. He's funny. He's so fucking funny in the Bad Doctor sketch. My all-time favorite SNL sketch.
Mm-hmm. Let's go make another one.
Palomino. They're beautiful. Old Chester. At least his wife has a big enough ass on her for a good role in the hay. But I can do the robot. That'll be $5,000.
I just sent you X Everything app link, which you probably.
Oh my God!
I think
this is like a Zelda, like a Link. This is like a history of what Link looked like.
Yeah. So if you can't see that, I just got the photo of the history of Panic's. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Transmit. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Aftershow, everybody.
I want David Lanham.
My mouth
from
is dry.
Icon. I want the lower left one. I want it in my mouth right now.
Right.
Lower left is my favorite. That's the one I want
to lick the top ledge.
Why wouldn't you just put the whole thing in?
The pixels. Well, I don't want all the pickles. The pickles. Pixels.
Pickles.
My mouth is so dry.
I see skies of blue.
Pixels.
Pickle in my mouth. I'm gonna lick this truck and head south. What a beautiful design. God. I used to be. Pretty sure I was out there. Armstrong, first name Louis. But then I realized I was Tom Waits in about 1976. And then it got a little older and it got a little more grouchy and it turned into Grover.
I was trying to
and the book monster you are. You're the monster. You will be.
Right below this, the Icon Factory.
Yosemite style. Look how they took all the details out. It's still gorgeous.
It's perfect. Well, this is, I think, a perfect example of the just progression of design and how the more control they were able to have,
and to understand that everything visual is evocative. It evokes something else. Something else. For example, here's a real dumb one. You know what? One thing it evokes is 3 dimensions. Because when you're looking at something, it's not really technically that deep. The Y is not going to be very deep if it's a painting, unless it's Van Gogh. But it evokes, right? It isn't just when you look at that most basic design with the least pixels, you get how much this evokes something. Every pixel is doing something important in this. It's so fucking beautiful.
The very first time.
Is there anything I'm missing about this logo, by the way? Is this a trap? Are you about to trap me by pointing out something I never noticed on the logo before?
Well, I was going to say on the earlier versions, on the 4th one, it goes away, but it's the first one is a file icon or a new
document.
Yeah, and I didn't figure that out for like the first.
With the little like dog ear. Yeah. Okay, for me that was okay. Alex, thank you. You just saved the entire week. Yes, that is exactly. No. This
I feel like my silence and choking on my dry mouth.
This is but this is
reading
actually,
as uninteresting.
Well, it's the perfect example where you, who uses computers more than almost anybody I can think of, didn't clock that as a document icon. In this case, a blank document icon. It's not a specific. That is the. If you're. I don't know if do you know this? That is the icon I believe that you get if it's an unknown document.
Yes.
So they probably had different ones of these for different kinds of documents.
Yeah. And the only reason I know this is because
But did you know that as well?
History.
Did you know that's not a Microsoft Word document? For sure.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Because it's not a dot. It
doesn't have that logo on it.
It has no dot.
No,
right.
no. But it doesn't it doesn't have the Microsoft Word logo on it that would identify it as the document identifier. Yeah.
The other part that I am convinced is something, but I want to ask. I should ask Louis or Cable. Why is there a period after the P? I feel like this
you're
is
right.
a
You're right because it's gotta. No, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
Knowing them. That's a really. You know what? That's really good.
Know.
Yeah. That's really good.
I'll figure it out. I'll fight.
But that negative, I think, I keep almost using the phrase negative capability. I barely catch myself.
I don't know what that means. Negative.
Can the sentence conclude? Is because when I'm saying that, I'm using it incorrectly. Negative capability is something Keats talks about as a concept in literary criticism. There's a different phrase that I'm completely spacing on, and maybe you can help me. What negative space? Negative space.
Yeah.
Is it negative space?
Yes, but I'm in terms of like.
But if you divide a negative space by a negative space, it makes a positive space. Do you feel like this is a positive space?
Yes.
Are you having a period right now of any kind?
Yes.
No, not menstrual necessarily. I'm sorry, let me put it differently. Are you having an era? Is that what you say, an era? Do you say you're having an era? You're in your lickable era?
Oh.
What do you say?
Sure.
Is that cringe? Is it cringe era? Sigma?
No,
is it Sigma? Is it Sigma? Jaw maxing.
Again, it's no, that's mewing.
That's mewing. Mewing is that the Sigma gesture? Is it when you
believe,
do? You start your pinky?
If
is that when
you're
you
a
glide
Sigma,
your pinky?
you don't need to mew because if you're a Sigma, you've already got the Chad jaw.
And you're saying mewing?
You don't need to up your wrist.
Mewing is a synonym for jaw maxing.
Yes.
And that's where I make my tongue go against the roof of my mouth so that I look like a Chad man.
Yes. Correct.
Has anybody ever?
They all sound like slurs.
Has anyone ever double checked whether that works? Because it seems like a little bit of a stretch. As somebody with, I have a lot of just genetic things in my appearance that a lot of people wish they had. Like, for whatever reason, I have hair. For whatever reason, I have a chin and a jaw. I have a mouth. and yet I cannot. And yet I cannot scream. That's kind of funny. But but in the same way that I tend to not trust productivity experts who are really productive, or housekeeping people, or tidy up the house people who are already tidy, I don't think those people have much to teach normal people. But as somebody with a large jaw, it seems to me I could become very influential by claiming that I got this through whatever my technique. Maybe a prostate. Maybe I push.
Oh.
No, I push on my butthole.
I see.
It's called a butt holder, and you push on that and your jaw gets bigger. Holder. That's how I did this. 2 months ago, I literally could not eat food. I didn't have a jaw.
You're pushing the fluffy bottom in there. So
I had a vestigial esophagus that did not help at all. And because of my family background, it had been circumcised.
Oh.
So I had the esophagus hanging out like a Colombian necktie. And then we got this guy over here. He didn't even see the arrow in the logo. And that's why to this day we feel that the arrow in the logo is love. Because Cupid and Valentine's Day is very important. It's also important. Thank you to everybody for helping us make this very important thing that we've made. I want to stop talking now so that I can edit this and put it. I had fun. I enjoyed Can you listen to the words? Or I'm sorry, are you just reading off something you prepared earlier?
No, it's very important.
It's important. Stay strong. Here's a YouTube video about how everything you think is wrong. Oh, cool. Thanks. I'll watch it tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I just think people talk. Here's another YouTube video on how you're wrong. Oh, sorry. That was just me impersonating a lot of my life with one of my best friends. Get you a man who can make you gaslight yourself. That's You ever gaslight yourself, Alex? You ever do that? Don't need a dedicated van in Czechoslovakia for that. Did you want to do a challenge?
What is your pencil challenge? You keep teasing this. It's like
so I told you I really enjoy Blackwing pencils. The company seems cool. Like I like the way they package things. I like just their design. But the pencils are, I don't know. They appeal to me. There's just some things about them, like they smell really good. I like that they always like just look good. They feel good. It's just it's a fairly, in the end, an inexpensive way to have a little bit of luxury to do something that I do a lot. And so, I don't know, there's a million ways all these pencils are different, but the thing that I mainly focus on is if it helps if it's a color I like, because I'm weird, but mainly it's how soft or hard the lead is. And I did some research, including both ChatGPT and testing every pencil I have, and I found that my favorite is actually the softest lead pencil, which I just want to tell people is called the Blackwing Matte, M-A-T-T-E. On the other end, you can get the John Dickerson pencil, which is like the lightest one. If you want to like do sketchy things, if you want to do sketch line type things.
It took me a second. Maybe I am slow today.
Well, there's things that might have taken you too long to realize. I think you're going to see this police thing in a few years, and it's going to be very upsetting for you.
I see it.
No, you don't.
Just
no, you don't.
I didn't know how.
You're like me when people would show me those secret eye things in the 90s where you're supposed to like you fuzz up your eye. Everybody's grandparents have one of these in their basement. You fuzz up your eyes and you can see us.
I love them. Yes.
Did you see it? I could never see it.
I have
a couple times.
A long time.
Some people are so fast, and I was like, all.
It would totally depend. It's
like the dress,
fascinating. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
some people just didn't see, and I was not spending 35 minutes doing this because I didn't want to see it. That's I wasn't doing anything to try and get in my own way. Wait, what were we talking about? Challenge.
Pencils.
And so, oh no, this is gay. But the idea was get a pencil you like. However you like your pencils. Get a pencil that you like and look at it. However you like it, whatever pencil and however you like it sharpened. And look at the tip of your sharpened pencil and then see that little, where it turns into a little barrel part there. And say to yourself, there's a secret in there somewhere. And I'm going to allow myself, let's say, 1/4 of an inch to find the best secret I can find in that 1/4 inch of a pencil. Isn't that an interesting idea? It's kind of like writing so hard you cry, but in this case, it's how much of this fucking pencil can I get away with? How much I want so much of this pencil to be gone, because the more I make it move and sharpen it, the closer I get to finding a secret.
I know. I don't. This is really good.
Oh, is it? It doesn't. It could also just be like learn to draw or something.
No, I like this.
No,
I'm looking at my Blackwing mat right now. Actually,
I don't think we say that anymore.
God, yes. Find a secret. Find the secret.
Oh no.
It's
because I mean, really, that's so close to blackface, Matt.
No, it's not. No, it's not a Blackwing.
You could get that printed on a pencil. No. It would say blackface Matt Cox on pencils, and you would sell those to people. This is for my husband. His name is Blackface Cox, and I love him very much. You want to buy a pencil? Honk, honk. I need a nap. My lizard died.
All right, go.
Woo, that was fun.